Hello Blender friends, and welcome to another Super3boy Blender tutorial. Now, as you probably noticed, I've been away for a little while. I've been really busy with college, but now I'm back full swing. I'm going to try to make it up to you guys by releasing a bunch of tutorials, probably a tutorial or two every week. So if you haven't subscribed already, go up to that top and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a tutorial. So as you probably noticed from what's right in front of you, I'm using the new Blender 2.55 beta. So if you haven't already upgraded, you should probably head over to blender.org and do so. So today we're going to be going over just making a basic scene in Blender. So we're just going to take some UV spheres, kind of stack them on top of one another, and I'm going to show you how to properly do the materials and render it up and set it up. So why don't we just go ahead and get started. So I'm just going to left click to get out of the splash screen and go on to our default view with our default cube. So we don't really need the default cube today, so we're going to hit X, and then we're going to hit left click to delete. So we're going to go to View, Top View, which is also numpad 7, as it says right there, and we're going to hit Spacebar. A little search menu pops up with all the actions that we could possibly do at this point, so we're just going to hit Add, Plane, and it pops up. I don't even have to even finish typing, so just left click, add plane. So there we have our plane right there in the middle. Hit S to make it a little bit bigger. So we're going to scale it up a little bit. And I'm looking at the numbers down where you can't see right now, but I think 5 would be a good value for our plane. So we're just scaling it up, hit S, scaling it up, hit 5, and then hit Enter. So now that we have a nice little plane as our kind of floor to our scene, let's go into the camera mode and see what the camera sees. So as you can see, this is the edge of our camera, and if you look in the bottom right hand corner, you can see that it can kind of see off of the plane a little bit. So we don't want it to see kind of world extending beyond. We just want it to be limited to the plane as the floor of our scene. So we're going to go to top view. We are going to zoom out with our middle mouse button, if you have one. And we're going to right click on the camera. So after we right click on the camera, hit the G key, and we're going to move it forward a little bit towards the plane. There, it looks good. Hit view, camera, and hit the G key, move it down just a little bit, and there we go. We've limited the area that the camera sees just to the plane as the bottom of the scene. So now that that's done, go up to View, Top View, and we're going to hit A to deselect the camera and everything. So now that that's all done, let's just go hit Space again, delete for the add plane that we already had, add UV, and then whoops, let's try it again, add UV, and then add UV spheres right there. So I'm going to click on that, and there's a UV sphere dead center in the middle of the scene. So if we alt left click to kind of just rotate this a bit to see what's going on, we can see, the UV sphere is right in the middle of the scene, which happens to be right in the middle of the plane, which means half our UV sphere is below the plane and half of it's above. So this is just a simple fix. I'm just going to zoom in a little. Again, that's the middle mouse button that I'm just using. Hit the G key, hit the Z key to move on up and down the Z axis. And I'm going to move this up. So I'm just going to hit 1 and then enter. And then perfect, that's exactly where we need to be, just touching the plane right there. So now we look at this UV sphere and we go, okay, that's an alright UV sphere, but you know, you can see all the individual faces. It's not exactly smooth. So let's just smooth the UV sphere and make everything a little easier for us. So I am going to hit the T key and go over here. Now there's a little menu that pops up with object tools and a bunch of other options. And if you look down here, you can see shading options, smooth and flat. Right now, our object is flat. We can see all the faces, but if we just go over here, and I'll try to get a little of the UV sphere selected and this option so you can see, and hit smooth button, you can see that the UV sphere just kind of smooths itself out. We go back down here, flat, you can see all the faces, smooth, makes a nice smooth UV sphere. So hit the T key, and that menu disappears. We don't need to really access that for the rest of the tutorial. But it's just a good idea to know that's there. So now that our UV sphere is nice and smoothed out, we're going to create a few more by duplicating it. So I just hit the numpad 5 to just correct the view. You can also do that in the view menu. And I'm just going to hit Shift D to duplicate. So we're just gonna move this down. It automatically puts you into the grab mode, and I'm just gonna move this down and left click to put a UV sphere there, and then I just hit Shift D again and put another UV sphere there, and then hit Shift D one more time and put a UV sphere in the middle. But as you can see, it's overlapping with some of the other ones. So I am just going to hit View, Front View, G key, Z key to move again on the up and down axis, and put it right on top of those other UV spheres. So if we hit Alt left mouse button to rotate, we should have a nice little group of UV spheres. I'm going to zoom in a little. It seems like there's a little spacing there, so I'm going to hit G, Y on the y-axis to move it in that direction, and move that a little so it's looks like it's resting, and move it down, G, Z key, move it down a little bit so it looks like it's resting on those three other UV spheres. Alright, so now that's done, we go into top view, and you can see it's kind of not centered up the way we want it. If we zoom out, it's a little to the front here. So Shift, right mouse button, right mouse button, and right mouse button. Hit the G key to move all these at once. Move kind of to the middle. So hit A to deselect, View, Camera, and let's see what the camera sees. Alright, that's alright. Let's hit G and move the camera up a little bit. Perfect. So now our camera can see all four of the UV spheres resting on top of the plane. So let's, right now everything as you can see is just gray, blah. So let's add a little bit more color to it. So let's go into view. Top view is a good way to go. And we're going to select this first UV sphere that's closest to the camera. So we're going to go over here, and there is a material option, which is right here, and we're just going to add a new material by clicking this button here. So as you can see, it changed a little bit over here as we added a new material. So we're going to just change this to one of the primary colors. So let's just make one of these red, one of these blue, one of these green, and make the top yellow. So we go over here and we select this option here. Oh, well, wrong one. No, this option right here, the diffuse option, and let's just change that back to white so we don't mess anything up. Alright, so we go to diffuse option and click that little bar of color right there, and we can change it to any color we want. So make that kind of a red, kind of a green, or a blue, If you look over here in the where all the objects are, you can see all of that changing. Also behind here, there's a kind of a preview option. And so let's keep that a blue. Then we go back here, right click on this one, on this object, and the material disappears. So what we want to do is, for some reason the menu wasn't showing up, so I just went to another tab, went right back, hit new, and let's just create a new material for this object right here. So go to diffuse, click on this little color right here. Let's make this one green. So I just left click, slide that little dot all the way over to the green, and it's green. So select out of that, right click on another one, hit new, fuse, pull that down to a good red color. And so if you look so far, we have all three of the balls on the bottom, or the UV spheres, all a different color because they all have a different material. So let's finally select the top one, hit new, diffuse, drag this down to the yellowish, and we've completed it. So we have all our UV spheres stacked on top of each other with a nice, good color added to each one of them using the Materials tab. And so if we go to the camera to make sure everything's alright, we can see our different colors on the bottom and top, and this forms a nice little scene with a kind of a floor on the bottom and three UV spheres stacked up with different colors. So all we have to do is go up here to render image, which is also F12, and zoom out so you guys can see everything. And as you can see, we have a nice simple little scene here with colored UV spheres. So I'm going to hit escape, and as you can see, you couldn't really see the red one that much. There wasn't much lighting. We could mess around with the lighting, or we could try something a little different. You can just go over here into the World tab, click on this, and turn on ambient occlusion, which just kind of makes the lighting just perfect for the scene. So if you ever are just playing around and you're making a scene or anything in Blender, you just turn on ambient occlusion and it'll just make the lighting perfect. So you just go up to render image. It's going to take a little while longer, and ta-da! We have our nice little UV sphere scene. So that's really it for this tutorial. Just creating a simple scene, showing you duplicate and the Materials tab, and just some of the basics to put everything together. Well, before you go off and hit that exit button and leave me in this video in an eternal life of solitude in this YouTube video, we had a contest going on right now, since it's December, it's around Christmas, so we have a winter Christmas contest for Blender, which there will be a prize. All it is just a simple winter scene. So just go to forum.nystic.com if you would like to participate. So I showed you how to make these colored UV spheres. You could add a little thing to the top and make them something that you could use to decorate a Christmas tree that you made in Blender. So why don't you give the contest a try? And the prize is, if you win, you can pick anything out of the Blender store, whether it be the new Sentinel DVD or any of the instructional DVDs or merchandise that they have in there. I'll buy it for you and ship it to your house. So why don't you guys give that contest a try, and we'll see if you win. Alright, that's Super3boy's signing out, or Super3 as you should now call me, signing out for this tutorial, and I hope to see you guys in the next tutorial. Alright, bye.